I don't know where to put my experiences, out of paranoia that I will be categorized as a lunatic. Ironically, I had a history of being a hard skeptic who mocks anything that is paranormal, supernatural, anything that is spiritual. But I know it's because I don't want to give it attention out of fear, and I don't want to see visions again. Seeing visions and these entities was very confounding and irritating for me as a child. I tried testing if I was schizophrenic, but no. It also came with hearing them, feeling them, and even catching their scent for just as long. But the ones I'd like to talk about today are shadow people. They were the first real, vivid experiences I knew weren't just figments of my imagination. I remember they came in groups at night, but there was one who was darker than the very shadows themselves. The darkness of this entity was so dense that light seemed to be absorbed on contact to it, nor can the light reflect to escape its figure. I would see it come in through the light of the bathroom door, like directly in the light, so I know it wasn't just shadows playing tricks. Its feet would crunch against the carpet floor as it moves around my bed, never taking its eyes off of me. It was tall, but it would slink down behind the foot of the bed, where its head would peek out. This one and those around it would give off emotions of sheer trepidation. If I move, if I don't pretend to sleep, it will be right there getting closer. Alongside these wide-awake terrors, I would have horrible nightmares back to back every night. I decided to change it up a bit. I wanted to create a truce to end it, so I would offer it cookies under my bed as a child. Of course, none were taken, or I assumed my father would simply know about it and eat them. Either way, it was symbolic that I just wanted to ease my stress. However, one night, when I was 7, I dreamt that I jumped out of bed and confronted the shadow person. I started to slowly suffocate him until he dissolved. Ever since that dream, the shadow people stopped visiting, until I met another shadow person years after, in a new home over 15 years later. It was a very familiar aura coming up the stairs of that house. In the shadows, I saw a dense blackness, and I know it was watching me. It gives off the same eerie, air-thickening sensations, but I don't sense it was a threat. It would stare at me, in its eerie glory of being the darkest of shadows, and its ever-moving figure, but it kept its distance. Something in me told me, you have far more power now, and it knows it. I was also getting into witchcraft, after finally realizing nothing can help me truly escape from seeing or interacting with spirits. And I don't want the fear of it to control me anymore. I set up wards, looked at him in the darkness of my house one night and said, "You try anything, I'll inflict harm and throw you out in the cold." I don't know what good that'll do, but in my observation, they seem to dislike direct confrontation, or any indication that you have any intense will to fight back. Over time, I didn't pay too much mind with this entity, and just allowed it to wander around. No ill happenings has taken place, no indications that there were any strange mood drops, and the presence felt less intrusive. Despite that, it's still prevalently there. I had friends, whom are into mediumship, immediately pick him up in my home, but they also didn't feel any really threatening other than the usual eeriness. One night, I felt a dip in my bed before I went to sleep. I felt and heard someone breathing too in staccato breaths. I didn't really want to look over at what it was, other than I knew who it was. It just simply laid there next to me, and I can just imagine it was staring. I decided to say, "You can lay here if you want, but anything else, I will hurt you." I was actually more scared than I tried to let on. After researching on the phenomenon of shadow people, they seem to feel and take that fear in as an advantage. But seemingly in this case, it was nervous in return. The turn was when I had a dream, or I astral projected. I went out of my body and started to wander about my own home. Before I started to venture beyond my front door, I saw it stepping into my view, and I heard its raspy, distorted voice echo, "Go back to your body. It's dangerous out there without it." With that, it escorted me back into my bedroom and I woke up. Since then, when I have dreams of leaving my body, I see the entity coming in to block me, send me back, and tell me it's for my safety. I decided it wasn't going to hurt me, and I made the decision to set up some fresh black tea upon my altar for him as a sign of truce for now. In the reality of this, I am still readily available to the idea that I'm just delusional, it was tricking me, or it was a figment of my imagination. During times when I want to give up the notion it's real, I had people claim they saw a really dark humanoid shadow coming and going by the blink of an eye in my home without me telling them anything about it. Currently, for now, he is considered a family member of my spiritual team. I will not give away his name, other than he's grown to been actually a someone of comfort. However, for any entity or any person embodying a vessel, I won't let all of my guard down if anything else happens. I'm still very perplexed about the concept of what is a shadow person, other than articles upon articles of supposed assumptions, or experts preaching their demonic, guardians, extraterrestrials, or other. The only thing I care about is if it respects my boundaries, and if it later shows other considerations. I will return the favor, and I'll gain respect for it until further notice.